Hello, Haley. This is your poetry conference. I'm going to be talking about the Google Doc that I shared with you. So it's probably easier to read if you just look at the document directly. So you can pause this and open it up if you haven't already, and just sort of scroll through. And I will be making my comments as suggestions, my notes. I'm glad that you really are enjoying the class and that you're inspired by Marwa's work. Her work is really powerful and groundbreaking and experimental. And it's really interesting that she was a journalist before she really dedicated herself completely to poetry. And so you can really see that in her work. And I like to hear that you were inspired by what she was doing. You had a question about how the online class compares to the in-person class. So there's actually two questions. One is how online compares to in-person, and the other one is how summer compares to fall and spring. So first, I'll just say that summer classes, of course, are 15 weeks worth of learning compressed into 5. So they're very intense. And then the other answer is that face-to-face classes are different because you are there and the questions can be answered in real time instead of by email. And also when you're doing your peer groups, you're literally right next to them, physically looking at them, talking to them. I have to say, personally, I mean, I love teaching online, but I prefer face-to-face. The reason that I do online is it's more convenient for me and it's more convenient for students. And people love taking online classes because it fits into their schedule. They can work at the beach on the summer or whatever. But there's nothing that beats actually one-on-one conversation, which is why, I've offered people the opportunity to have hangouts with me. If it fits their schedule, and of course why I'm recording this message for you. So anyway, I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're learning so much. One of the things that I just can't teach without talking to someone is blank verse. So I think you have the notion of iambic meter down, but remember that penta means 5. So pentameter means there needs to be 5 feet in every line. Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. So I'm going to read through the lines that you have here, which many of them are very good iambic meter, but they might be trimeter, tetrameter, and maybe you could combine them with other lines, or you could add a couple of extra feet at the end. Why must I clean the floor? I'm just counting 3 there. When you are making the mess, that one's close to iambic. It has 2 unstressed syllables together. So I'll just say that 2 unstressed. I'm going to put that there as a comment. Why must I pick up your crumbs? See, that one gets a little bit off. When you drop them down. So again, we're losing that. Why must I do the work? Perfect. But needs, needs 2 more feet. I'm not going to make markings on all of these, but because I'm not sure even if you're going to revise it, but you can. Needs 2 more feet. This one needs 2 more feet. Why must you bring me this work? This one, I hear this as a trochaic or spondaic, which is trochee or spondy are the noun forms. Spondate is, if you look at my guide to meter, dun, dun. It's like 2 equal stress syllables. It's like you want to watch me work. That's really great. Just needs 1 more. It's tetrameter. The other 2 are what we call trimeter or trimeter. Okay. While you sit down and wonder why, why it does, or I do. See, that's just an example. That would make it tetrameter. I'm sorry, pentameter. Why I think you're worth it. See that? So that's more like why I think you're worth it. Da, 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 da. Okay. They say doing favors for somebody. You see how we don't say somebody, we say somebody. And we don't, although that's actually somebody, kind of, I can live with that, but this one I can't. This really is definitely trochaic. Stressed, unstressed. Doing makes you love them. These I'm hearing as trochaic rather than iambic. And a quick fix for that is to add an unstressed syllable. It makes you love them more. I'm just going to riff on this. When you say no. I think that's actually true. Just a little bit of advice, no charge. Anyway, I'm just saying those are close, and I hope that this is helpful. People usually have a light bulb go off when they actually hear me talk about it. But good for you for making it make sense. Okay, comfort food, pizza. My daughter and I had some really good pizza last night near my hometown in Ohio. And we had to wait for 35 minutes for it to be done, but it was worth it. They have a small oven. Anyway, I really like the images here. This, I think what you mean is a little off, is what I'm going to say. Fill with tears. It is too hot. I can't wait. My tongue burning with pepper. I would say turn these verbs into the active form rather than the ing. It gives more. So like I'll show you. My tongue burns with pepper. Whoops, my ears listen to foreigners. I would say with pepper. My nose can't get enough. So that one also is already. Pizza is home. New York is home. Hearing the oven open and close. I am in my city. I am not away. Now, a suggestion I'm going to make for both of these, I've actually kind of gone a little crazy this class and telling a lot of people about the forms of repetition. So I'm going to add that at the end here. What I'm going to suggest is that you do something really radical and really try to change the form of these poems and use one of the forms that I'm showing here at the end that uses repetition. Students have been trying this, writers have been trying this, and they're loving it, especially because you have some things repeated already in the pizza poem, and you also mentioned it's something that you're in love with, you really love. Like there's a little bit, like repetition works when there's something that there's a little bit of an obsession about or something that you keep going back to. And this notion of home, I think would be really helpful. And so with the pantoum, I give links to the definition of it. It has some examples of pantoums. And there's a wonderful pantoum by Randall Mann on the Poetry Foundation website called Pantoum. But anyway, it's really lovely. It's like a love poem. Anyway, this link here is Teaching English. I love the English teachers. They give us these things. But this is something where you can literally just print it out, fill out the lines, and then type up the results. And it tells you which lines to repeat. It's so cool. You probably can't see this because I think it's only sharing your Google Doc. But you can, I'm looking at it right now. You can just click on it. If you're on the Google Doc, just go ahead and click it and look at it. Villanelle is also something you might want to try. It involves using iambic pentameter and rhyme. Usually it's iambic pentameter. Sometimes it could even be tetrameter if you wanted it to be, but usually it's meter and then it has rhyme and then it also has repetition. And there's some really interesting things. Sestina is fun. You just pick 6 words, including pizza for perhaps, and you can have this sestina generator, put 6 words in here, and the sestina-matic would just automatically like put them in the order that they're supposed to be. And then you write the lines to fill in going up to those words, which will be at the ends of the lines. So I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but I'm going to suggest that you actually try that for both poems because you have repetition. You might try one of these forms. The other one is a blues form, and then there's a duplex, which is, it sounds super complicated, but it really just has a lot of repetition. And so anyway, I just want to give everybody those examples and those strategies. So I think if you use the repetition, like there's something about this, it's got some really great images, but I feel like it needs more musicality, more sounds to the language and more rhythm to it, which doesn't mean it necessarily has to be, in a traditional meter rhyme or whatever. And that's why I think of the pantoum, which doesn't require those elements, would be a really good form for you to use for this. And so you would take some of these lines and have those be the repeated lines, and you would put it into stanzas. I think that would shape the poem more, and I think that would give you something to kind of craft it around. Okay, poem number 2. Again, because, for example, you're repeating the first line and the last line, I think this is a very haunting line, and I think it would be even more haunting if you would make it into a poem that uses repetition. I really think this one could be a villanelle. And again, like you could, did she make it or did she not? That's sort of rough tetrameter. So you could have them all be sort of 4-beat lines using some rhyme. And I think that would be really, again, you have some powerful images, some physical sensations, and this would just kind of pump that up to another level in terms of that anticipation, that concern that is being expressed in the poem. And especially where, we still have a question at the end. I think it would be very, very powerful. I'm just going to put consider. Let me make it back to suggesting. Consider using the villanelle form to revise this poem. Whoa, boy, I'm getting lots of typos. Okay, and I'm going to make that capital so it is correct. I think this is very powerful, and I think that using a form of repetition would really, really help. So I realize there's not a lot of time until the end of the class, but just play around with it, and certainly email me if you have any questions. I'll be getting to your prose narrative very, very soon, and good luck. I wish you all the best. Take care.